Shalom and good day all, this is Healing29 back again for some indie comic reviews, and in these indie comic reviews I'll be covering Silverhawks by Ed Brisson, issue 2, and that's for Dynamite. And through Boom Studios I have The Last Boy, issue 1, which is set around a Peter Pan type story but with some slight changes. I'll now get things ready and organised for the first one that I'll be reviewing. So starting off with first things first, does this cover in any way, shape or form connect to something that is happening inside with the story? In some essence it does, to which I give it a 6.5 out of 10. Next is the area of the internal art, but also what is happening story-wise with the characters, as we have a look around the beginning, middle and of course the end. So as the story begins, as we move into the beginning of the story, it takes place on one of the Starship casinos in Limbo, to which we get to meet one of a band member on display with one of his other members. We'll now move to the middle of the story and meet up with what's happening with our heroes. So as the story continues, we get someone who appears to be likened unto Quicksilver. Whether it is actually Quicksilver or not, it's a little bit unknown. Even though it looks like them in appearance, it might not actually be them, because the character known as Monster is on the loose. And last but not least, we get to see what's happening with some of the villains who are getting ready to take on the characters of the Silverhawks and any other allies that might be connected to them. For the internal art, I gave it a 6.5 out of 10. Now it's time to move in relation to the area of the story. First things first, did we get anything in relation time-wise? The answer is no, we didn't. Next is the area of the location, to which the locations that took place in the story. We had the Starship Casino, we had the space known as Limbo, and also the Hawk Haven, which houses the character of the Silverhawks. Houses the characters of the Silverhawks. The cast of characters, some mentioned by name, some shown up in appearance. We had Monster, we had Commander Stargazer, we had Asicus, we also had the Electric Sky Band, we also had Professor Genmaki, we had Quicksilver, Melodia, Windhammer, we of course had the characters of the Silverhawks, as well as I think it's the Herculoids. For the overall story rating, I give it a 6.5 out of 10. Now it's time to move into the area of The Last Boy, issue 1. So with Dan Panosian on the title, moving into first things first, does this cover in any way, shape or form connect to something that is happening inside with the story? Sure enough it does, to which I give it a 7 out of 10. Now it's time to move in relation to the area of the internal art, as we have a look around the beginning, middle and of course the end, and also what's happening story-wise with the characters. So as the story begins, we of course catch up with Peter Pan, who's in Neverland, but we're also brought forward to the 1920s, to which we end up catching up with Wendy Darling and of course her brothers and that, and what's happening with them. As we move towards the middle of the story, we have the character of Peter Pan catching up with a character known as Chief Great Panther. And of course we get to see what's happening with Captain Hook's ship. And last but not least, we move towards the end of the story, to which, well, Peter Pan loses his villain. And this bit reminds me a little bit of what happened to Captain Hook in the movie Hook. But in this case, the crocodile's still alive and not dead. So, very interesting. And with that, it's enough for me to get out, to check out the next issue. So for the internal art, I gave it a 6.5 out of 10. Now it's time to move in relation to the area of the story, which consists of time, location, and cast. Starting with the area of time, we learned that it's taking place in the 1920s. The locations that we get to see within the story are London, Neverland, London, England, and of course, I forgot to bring up that we also get to see Wendy Darling traveling to the Americas. So it's going to be very interesting as to how that's going to affect the story later on. Next is the cast of characters, to which we have Peter Pan, Tinkerbell, Captain Hook, Chief Great Panther, who was a part of the American Indian, or a part of the Indians in the story, and along with Wendy. For the overall story rating, I give it a 7 out of 10. Until then, let's keep it colourful and have yourself an awesome day.